The phone buzzed against the marble countertop like an angry wasp. David was in the shower, steam billowing from under the bathroom door, when his phone lit up with an unknown number. My hands trembled as I picked it up. Something told me to answer. "Hello," I whispered. "David, baby. I love you so much. I can't wait to see you tonight." The voice hit me like ice water in my veins. Soft, familiar, devastating. My knees buckled, and I gripped the counter to keep from falling. The phone slipped from my fingers, clattering to the floor. It was my sister Emma's voice. I sat on our kitchen floor, staring at the phone like it was a loaded gun. 5 years of marriage. 5 years of family dinners where Emma laughed at David's jokes, where she hugged me goodbye, where she played the perfect sister. My chest felt crushed, every breath a struggle. The shower was still running. David's coffee mug sat on the counter, the one I'd bought him for our anniversary. "World's best husband," it read. The irony burned like acid in my throat. "Sarah. You okay out there?" David's voice echoed from the bathroom. "Fine." I managed to croak, my voice breaking. How long had this been going on? The late meetings, the weekend conferences, Emma's sudden interest in our marriage problems. Every time I'd confided in her about David's distance, she'd consoled me, held me while I cried. She'd been playing us both. The front door slammed open with such force that picture frames rattled on the walls. Heavy footsteps thundered across our hardwood floors. "Sarah! Where are you?" My father's voice boomed through the house like thunder before a storm. Dad never raised his voice. Never. In 30 years, I'd seen him angry exactly twice, both times when someone had threatened his family. He appeared in the kitchen doorway, his face stone cold, holding his phone like evidence in a murder trial. Behind him stood my mother, tears streaming down her cheeks, and my brother Michael, whose jaw was clenched tight enough to crack teeth. "Dad?" I whispered from the floor. "What's?" "Emma called me by mistake 10 minutes ago," he said, his voice deadly quiet. "She thought she was calling David. She told me everything." The bathroom door opened. David emerged in his bathrobe, hair dripping, completely oblivious to the family tribunal awaiting him. "What's going on?" David asked, his eyes darting between my father's furious face and my crumpled form on the floor. "Really?" Dad stepped forward, his 6-foot frame casting a shadow over David. "You're going to stand there and play dumb?" "I don't know what you're talking about." "My daughter Emma." Dad's voice exploded through the kitchen. "My other daughter. Your wife's sister." David's face went white as bone. His mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. 6 months, Mom whispered through her tears. Emma confessed everything. 6 months you've been sneaking around, destroying our family. "Sarah, I can explain." David reached toward me. "Don't." Michael stepped between us, his fists clenched. "Don't you dare touch her." I found my voice, raw and broken, in our bed. "David. You brought my sister into our bed." His silence was confession enough. "Please," David finally spoke, his voice cracking. "Sarah, I never meant for this to happen. Emma and it just. We didn't plan it." "Didn't plan it?" I pulled myself to my feet, rage finally overpowering the heartbreak. "You didn't plan to destroy your marriage. You didn't plan to betray the woman who loved you. You didn't plan to turn my sister against me. It wasn't like that." "Then what was it like?" Dad demanded. "Explain to me how a man destroys 2 daughters in one family and calls it an accident." David looked around the room desperately, searching for an ally, an escape route, anything. He found nothing but judgment and disgust. I love her, he whispered. The words hung in the air like poison gas. Mom sobbed openly. Michael's knuckles cracked as his fists tightened. But something strange happened to me. The pain lifted, replaced by a cold, crystalline clarity. This pathetic man standing in front of me, this was what I'd wasted 5 years loving. Get out, I said quietly. Sarah, please. Get out. The scream tore from my throat with such force that David actually stumbled backward. Take your clothes, take your lies, and get out of my house. This is my house too. Not anymore. Dad pulled out his phone and showed David the screen. I've already called my lawyer. You signed a prenup, remember? The house stays with Sarah. You get nothing. David's face crumpled. You can't do this to me. I'm not doing anything to you, I said, my voice steady as steel. You did this to yourself. You and Emma both. Where am I supposed to go? I don't care, I replied, each word sharp as broken glass. Go to Emma. Go to a hotel. Go to hell. Just go. 20 minutes later, David's car disappeared down our driveway, his hastily packed suitcase visible through the rear window. I watched from my bedroom window, feeling like I was watching the end of a movie I'd never wanted to star in. 3 months later, I sit in the same kitchen where my world imploded, but everything is different. The coffee mug is gone. The pictures are gone. David is gone. Emma called once, crying, begging for forgiveness. I hung up. Some betrayals cut too deep for sorry to heal. You look happy, Mom observes, setting down fresh coffee in a new mug, one that simply says strong. And I do feel happy. For the first time in years, I feel like myself again. Not David's wife, not Emma's sister, not anyone's victim. Just Sarah. The phone on the counter, my phone now buzzes with a text from my divorce lawyer. Final papers signed. You're free. I smile, typing back, perfect timing. Dad was right when he told me that day, as we cleaned David's remaining mess from my life, sometimes the people who hurt us the most do us the biggest favor. They show us exactly who they are, and more importantly, who we are. I learned I'm stronger than I ever imagined. I learned that real family stands by you when the world falls apart. And I learned that sometimes, losing everything you thought you wanted is the only way to find everything you actually need. The woman who answered that phone call 6 months ago would have begged David to stay, would have blamed herself, would have forgiven the unforgivable. But that woman is gone. In her place stands someone who knows her worth, someone who won't settle for scraps of love from people who see her as disposable. Sometimes betrayal isn't the end of your story. Sometimes it's the beginning of the story you were always meant to write.